And once you've graded them, you stamp them at the bottom. Makes sense, right? You'll have to fill out these forms as weekly assessments for each of the students. It's tedious, but it's required. Your assessments will track each student and their progress through the school year. I apologize, sweetie. I'm sure someone as young as you doesn't want to deal with so much paperwork. Since when did they start hiring people your age anyway? I swear, churchfolk can be such slave drivers. Well, don't worry your pretty little head. I've been here for what feels like a lifetime. If you have any questions about procedures later, find me at the medical bay.
Professor? Ah, I'm glad to see you're still here. I was hoping to find you in the classroom. I must thank you for your lesson this morning. I enjoyed learning the basics of combat. It was certainly eye-opening.
Yes, although for someone as knowledgeable as Lady Edelgard, it may have been a bit too rudimentary. Do not hesitate to teach us something more advanced.
I wanted to apologize for our house's conduct. One of our members, Bernadetta, did not attend the lesson. I've managed to convince her to finally leave her room in order to give her own apology.
Lady Edelgard has asked you to apologize, so comply.
Oh! Hello, Professor. I'm, Bernadetta. I'm sorry I didn't show up. It was hard. I promise I'll try harder.
Our old instructor also had difficulties getting Bernadetta to attend lessons, but she has been making an effort to improve. She's a good girl, and she means well, so I hope you'll be understanding.
As always, you're too soft on your classmates.
I don't see the harm in it.
Professor, can I ask a question? How old are you?
Oh, I apologize. Bernadetta isn't aware of your amnesia.
Amnesia? Oh, I'm sorry. I had no idea. I only asked because you look our age.
A fair observation, however. Even if the professor is missing their memory, it's safe to assume their age is about 20 years old, perhaps.
Really? I would have guessed even younger.
All right, that's enough of that. We must have faith in our professor, regardless of appearance. We are a little early, but we'll be having a comprehension lesson with you here soon. Do you mind if we just get settled in now? Is it all right with you, Professor? I promise we'll keep our voices down until everyone else arrives. Great. Come sit next to me over here, Bernadetta. I'll make sure we go over everything.
Oh? Some people are already here? Did we dash late for the next lesson?
It's running late. And no, I'm pretty sure we're on time. I think Edelgard is just overly eager for the next lesson. And Hubert will always follow her wherever she goes. Oh, and Bernadetta is here too, is she? Let's see how long that lasts.
Huh? Lindhard got here before me? No way! I don't think that's ever happened before.
That's only because you always drag your feet. Not to mention, you never check the time. I'd accredit it to the cafeteria. You really do get carried away in there sometimes.
Hey, I'm going through a growth spurt. I need to eat as much as I can.
Trying to impress the new teacher by arriving early, Edelgard? Most commendable. I see you're still trying to rival me. I admire your effort, but I'll be extra vigilant next time.
You could never be a rival to Her Highness, Ferdinand. Watch your tongue before it's taken from your throat.
Such scare tactics won't work on me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, knock it off, both of you. Class hasn't even started and you're both giving me a headache. Sorry about this, Professor. Our class can definitely be a bit rowdy. I hope you're not getting a bad impression of us. I'm sure it can't be easy, being a new teacher while still figuring out who you are.
Yes, but you seem to be adapting to the role very well. I'd attribute it to your skill on the battlefield. Why, just the other day, I heard the story of how you and the Bladebreaker slew 2 corrupt beasts hiding in the hills leading up here. The story goes that you faced the beasts head-on and without fear, searing their flesh in a blaze of fire magic. It's such an exciting tale.
Let's just get this lesson started, shall we? Might as well get through this as fast as we can. No offense to you, Professor. I just can't stand combat training, or whatever they call it.
Huh? Why is that? I thought learning the art of warfare would be exhilarating.
War has taken more lives than it's ever saved. The Church teaching the next generation how to fight is just continuing the cycle. Not surprising, though, considering how many lives the Church has taken itself.
Careful now. Talking about the Church like that is dangerous. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you. I've heard some terrible rumors about what's happened to naysayers of the Church. They're just rumors, I'm sure, but...
That's enough, both of you.
Best to keep your mouths shut if the Church decides to reprimand you. no one will be able to help you.
I'm sorry, Professor. We became a little distracted. If you'd like to start the lesson, we'll make sure we remain focused and attentive. Practical lessons are important, of course, but going through our study books is just as essential. We are ready when you are.
She has a fire in her soul, driven by both hope and unending sadness. She was the first of 3. She can tell she isn't normal. And every day, she gets just a little bit closer to the truth.
Professor? Are you okay?
All the color from your face has been drained. Scared, are we? What would cause that, I wonder?
If you're feeling sick, just call on me. I'll get you to the sick bay faster than any other student around.
Well, I suppose we can start the lesson then. Just let us know if you really are feeling sick. You can trust your students.
I have to say, I think a spear will do well for me. I'd like to avoid anything that seems brutish, like an axe.
Really? I always found axes to be quite elegant weapons, though.
You could try magic, you know. I think you have the potential to become a skilled mage, if given the right amount of time.
Perhaps, but I think not. Steel will always be more reliable than spells.
Ugh, I want to go back to the training grounds. Who wants to read a bunch of stupid books?
I am okay with reading, but this book is being the strange. It does not help at all.
That's a dictionary. Where did you even get that?
I read up to page 24 like the professor said. Can I go back to my room now?
No, you missed the practical lesson this morning, so you'll be reading up to page 48 to compensate.
But the professor didn't tell me to do that.
No, but I am.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Professor, may we speak outside for a minute? I know it's a bit sudden of me to bring you out here. The lesson is almost over now, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I just wanted to take a moment to thank you. Ever since I heard about you, I've been trying to imagine what it must be like to live with amnesia. But it's unthinkable. I admire your courage and tenacity. Whoever you were before you lost your memory, I know it was someone good. And
Well, well, if it isn't Her Highness. Didn't think I'd bump into you today.
Elle, it's, been a while, hasn't it?
Dimitri. Sorry, Professor. I should go tell the class that the lesson is over now. If you'll excuse me.
And just like that, she runs off. Can't say I didn't expect that reaction, to be honest.
That was foolish of me. Of course she's not ready to talk to me yet.
Oh, wait. I can tell by the look on Teach's face that we've confused him. Sorry about that, but if you're really going to be sticking with us for the rest of the year, you might as well hear the story. Everyone else already knows it. Dimitri, you want to do it, or should I?
No, I need some time to think. I will see you both another time.
Not fun to see him sulk, is it? I've been trying to get to know the prince since this morning, being rival house leaders and all. But he's been sulking the whole time. Well, anyway, in case you're wondering about him and Princess Edelgard, it's a pretty well-known story at this point. Obviously, it makes sense why you wouldn't know the story, though. I'm sure you at least know the three nations that govern the continent, right? It's the Empire, the Kingdom, and the Alliance that rule over Fodland currently. But that wasn't always the case. Technically, the entire continent belonged to the Empire once. A long time ago, factions seceded from the Empire's control and became their own nations. Specifically, the people of Fargus showed their strength and determination to secede at something called the War of the Eagle and Lion. They won the battle, apparently, and a distinguished warrior called Lug was crowned by the church itself, out of respect for his bravery and leadership. That marked the start of the Holy Kingdom of Fargus we know today, and King Lambert and Dimitri are descendants of King Lug. The reason I'm giving you this history lesson is because ever since then, there hasn't been another war between nations. Little conflicts here and there, sure, but not a full-scale battle. At least, not until 5 years ago. The event was called the Battle of Rhodos. It started when a large Imperial infantry invaded the Rhodos coast, land belonging to the kingdom. It was without warning and without any reason that the people of the kingdom could determine. Rhodos coast is just an old and mostly abandoned salt mine. The Empire moved in quick, with Emperor Ionis leading the charge. King Lambert and his men arrived later as the cavalry, determined to take the land back. The kingdom was still overwhelmed, though, so they did their best to hold on and force a stalemate, which they managed for 3 days. By that time, reinforcements from the Church of Saros arrived, taking the kingdom's side. That meant the end for the Empire's attack. The Battle of Rhodos was fierce, and it caused the Emperor and the King to face each other head-on. The fight was already over, but they clashed anyway. And it ended with the death of an emperor.
"400 years. 400 years we've lived in peace, and you've thrown it all away. And for what? Ionius, what did all this death and chaos achieve? I respected you. I had no quarrel with the Empire. So why did you make me strike you down?
How could you understand? This was necessary.
Necessary? How? You had an entire nation to care for. And a daughter. A daughter that now has lost her only family. What will she think of you when she grows? What will she think of the both of us? I refuse to believe you threw away your life for some salt mine.
There's no point. You're already the church's puppet. And you don't even know it.
Please, we are friends. We shook hands and broke bread together. At least try to make me understand.
It's not a salt mine. It's a cemetery. One of 5. All of them must be found.
A cemetery? For who? Ionius!
A few thousand on that battlefield died. Fargus won the battle with the church's aid, but they say the people of Fargus didn't see it as a victory. Sounded like people were more confused than anything else. Anyway, the Empire was reprimanded by the church soon after the battle. Instead of being ruled by an emperor, a parliament was formed. The parliament to this day is run by church officials, to make sure another fight doesn't break out, until Edelgard is old enough to assume the throne, that is. I'm sure you're starting to see why this story is important. Yeah, Dimitri's father killed Edelgard's father. Edelgard lost her only surviving family and had her father branded as the Mad Emperor by her own people. Now she's studying here at Garrick Mach under the church's initiative to rehabilitate her to make sure she doesn't make the same mistakes as her father. You can probably understand now why it's pretty awkward between the two of them. I heard they were friends when they were kids, but I don't know if they'll get back to that point again. Guess we'll just have to see. But you know, Teach, I do kind of wonder sometimes what Ionis was thinking. Everyone says he just went crazy in his old age, but that doesn't sound right. I wonder if it bothers King Lambert too. Don't mind me. I'm talking too much. I'm sure you want to have your break now, with classes being over. You'll be teaching us tomorrow, just in case you haven't checked your schedule. I'm sure the Golden Deer will love you. Have a nice break, Teach.
It's just for one meal. Come on, we can just relax and chat. I bet you know plenty of juicy gossip.
I don't see the point. I've got nothing interesting to... Oh, Professor, it's you.
Huh? You mean you're the new instructor? Huh. I had you pegged as an old man, to be honest. It's gonna be weird to say this to someone that looks the same age as me, but nice to meet you, Professor. I'm Hilda, of House Goneril. I'm part of the Golden Deer led by Claude, in case you know him.
Hilda was trying to take me to the cafeteria for reasons I'm failing to understand.
That's because it's so rare to see you alone without your sister. Where is she anyway?
She's with Professor Manuela right now for a medical examination in the sickbay.
Oh gosh. Is she sick?
No, Polly and I both have examinations in the sickbay once a week. It'll be my turn tomorrow. For now, I'm just waiting for Polly to return.
Weekly checkups? I don't think any of the other students get that. Oh, do you think this has to do with Rhea? I bet it does. This is why I wanted to talk to you.
You wanted to find out more about Rhea? Why would you come to me?
Because she's your mother. Duh. There's gotta be some awesome secrets you've learned. The curiosity is killing me.
Mother. I wouldn't call Rhea that. I don't think Polly would either.
Why not? Isn't she your guardian, though?
I guess, but she doesn't typically interact with us. She usually has Sedith act as an intermediary if she wants to tell us something. I haven't spoken to her in years. Must have been 7 or 8 years ago, maybe?
What? That's horrible! Why would she do something like that?
I'm not sure, but Polly theorizes that it's because of either hate or shame felt towards our real mother. Rhea and Sedith told us our mother was one of Rhea's handmaidens, born and raised in the monastery, but she strayed from her duties to make time for her secret lover. Her lover was a commoner and scavenger that frequently visited Garreg Mach to secretly sell black market goods to anyone that would buy them. Once he found out he was going to be a father, he fled without a word, and our mother's situation brought shame to both Rhea and everyone around her. Apparently, our mother then gave birth to us, with the strain of birthing twins causing her to pass. That was what we were informed of.
How could you say that with a straight face? That's just the saddest story I've ever heard. Wait, but you guys are part of the Blue Lion's house, right? You aren't from Fargus?
No, that's just something that Rhea made up. We're supposed to be abandoned orphans from the kingdom. Again, it might just be her trying to hide her shame. Maybe I should mention, I don't believe Polly's theory. I don't understand much about shame and pride, but the way Rhea acts makes me think there's something else. With how closely she monitors us, to the point where we aren't permitted to leave Garreg Mach, I think Rhea may be hiding a part of the story from us.
Huh? You can't even leave the monastery?
According to Sedith, no. Then again, Polly and I have never tried to break that rule. We don't need to see Fodlan. As long as Polly and I have each other, that's enough for both of us.
Jeez, this isn't the kind of gossip I was pushing for at all. Now I feel kind of bad. Sorry, Castor. You were right. I should get out of your hair. I'll, see you tomorrow, Professor.
Somehow, I think I scared her off. That tends to happen a lot when I start speaking. Not you, though. Does that make you weird, I wonder? Anyway, I wanted to thank you. Last night was the first night in a while that I didn't have one of those nightmares. Apparently neither did Pollia. Since Pollia isn't here, I can admit to you that I'm not totally convinced that you're the cause of the nightmares. I mean, considering you have no background or name, you're definitely suspicious, but I still have my doubts. Pollia wouldn't be happy with me sharing. But I struggle to remember them anyway. I just wake up in physical pain, and I have to wait perhaps an hour for it to subside. And something with a face just like yours is the cause of it, in the nightmares. A shadowy figure, hidden within a blanket of flames. All I can ever make out is its face. Actually, maybe even that is saying too much. I should go. Pollia's examination should have ended now. Here's hoping the nightmares have stopped for good. Goodbye, Professor.
My. Look who decided to finally show up. Where were you? What's going on? I see. Sounds like you have been rather busy since we last spoke. A professor at the monastery. That could certainly prove useful. I am surprised that things fell in place for you so well. You will have to take full advantage of this. And you managed to speak to the Archbishop. Rhea, you called her? That will be a problem. If she finds out about the three... Oh, do not mind me. You have done well. What has really caught my attention is what you said happened the night before this one. Your vision. Having a strong connection to your soul, I could tell that it was somewhere else that night. I sensed it as it left this plane of existence. It did not return for some time. I could not stop it either. Whatever it was, its strength rivaled my own, or likely even surpassed it. You say the entity spoke to you as it pulled you in? It mentioned something about a mission to kill it. Interesting. It seems to be implying that it knows what the church will decide to do before it does it. A prediction, or a vision of the future. I admit, I do not understand it, but it looks like you have several promising leads. Both this new entity along with the twins you have been speaking to, that is. For now, focus on those twins. The way you described it, you cannot respond to the voice in your head, so you will just have to wait until it speaks again. But if and when the voice does speak again, and asks something of you, obey it. It seems to be the most promising chance to find out who you are, and by extension, figure out why you and I are bound to this void. Please, child. Thank you. Now, that being said, I have my own information to share. Yes, that is right. I have not just been waiting idly by. Though my power is nothing compared to what it should be, I have been using what I have left to peer into the other world, to see Fodlan. It is only ever brief glimpses of that world, so brief that I can only sense its energy, rather than actually see it. I would not be surprised if you did not get it. But what is important is that I sensed something very interesting as I practiced this. I sensed two particular people with a very strange energy. Their energy is almost identical to yours. I can sense the essence of life itself, including yours. And the essence of these two particular people is almost uncanny. Sadly, with mere glimpses, all I know about them is that they are like you in some way, and that they are located in Fodlan. I know Fodlan is a large continent, but this is promising. They could be your parents, or siblings, or even just distant family. I know you may not be able to do much with this information right now, but I wanted to let you know anyway. Keep vigilant when you are back on the other side. With how lucky you seem to be lately, you may just run into them. Speaking of which, I can tell that a new day is soon to start on the other side. I'll use my strength to send your mind back to your body. Please, keep my advice in mind and do your best. I am counting on you. Let us keep pushing onwards until we grasp the truth with our own hands.